Hi and welcome back to Sense and Sensitivity. I wanted to do an updated video on cleansers because I have some new ones in rotation that I'm really liking, and I've also recently been testing out a few cleansers that are typically recommended for people with rosacea that didn't work for me, and I wanted to just give you my 2 cents in case you are looking for a new cleanser. So firstly, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I am a fan of the double cleansing method. Now, I don't think everybody needs to do this necessarily. I think it really depends on the amount of makeup and sunscreen you're wearing, and also whether the sunscreen is waterproof or not. But for me, I do enjoy the double cleansing process. I do it once a day at the end of the day, and I find that it's the most effective way for me to keep my skin clean and best prep it for the products I'm going to put on afterwards, as long as I do it properly. And so, unlike typical double cleansing, where people are using an oil-based cleanser and then a foaming water-based cleanser, what I do is I use an oil-based cleanser and follow it up with a non-foaming gentle cream or gel cleanser. But I have tried some foaming cleansers that are recommended for people with rosacea, and I'll get into those in a little bit. So the oil cleanser I use is the essential oil-free oil cleanser by the brand Veronique, and I've talked about this cleanser and this brand many times in different videos. I'm a big fan. I've actually started to stray away from her a little bit more because my skin has been more sensitive and reactive lately, and I've needed really bland products, but I love her oil cleanser. I think it does a fantastic job of getting off non-waterproof and waterproof sunscreen, as well as any makeup and mascara and things like that. However, if you don't like the feeling of oil cleansers, or you want another option, then another thing I would recommend is the Bioderma Micellar Water. This is a very well-known product, and it's often recommended for people with sensitive skin and rosacea, and I would agree that it does a really good job. It's not good enough, in my opinion, to replace double cleansing and following up with another gentle cleanser, and I don't think it does as good of a job as oil cleansing. However, if you don't like oils and you want to do a two-step cleansing process, I would recommend this at least to start off for removing eye makeup and things like that, and then you might go into whatever cream or gel cleanser you're using and just do that process twice with that cleanser. That's another acceptable way to do a double cleanse. I don't love using this all over the face to get makeup and sunscreen off, just because I feel like too much rubbing and tugging is involved, which is really not recommended for people with hypersensitive skin and rosacea. But I don't find the formula irritating, and I do find that it works well to remove eyeshadows, eyeliners, mascaras, and a light surface layer of makeup if necessary. So I would recommend this to have around, if for nothing else than removal of eye and lip makeup. And if you're someone who is curious about double cleansing but doesn't like oils and balms, then I would give this a try. The next cleanser that I've been loving lately is a cleanser that I use in the second step of my double cleansing process, and it is the Avene Extremely Gentle Cleanser Lotion, and that's what it looks like. I've had it for about 2 months, and you can see how much I've used. I use this every night after my oil cleanser, and then sometimes in the morning I do cleanse, sometimes in the morning I don't cleanse, but this would be what I would use if I just want a little refresh. And it's interesting because sometimes we might think we want to cleanse less when we have sensitive skin, but when you're using a gentle cleanser, sometimes it can be really refreshing and nice. So actually, I more often cleanse in the morning when my skin is feeling very irritated rather than when it's not. If I wake up and it seems very balanced, I'll usually just splash a little water and use my skincare and move on with my day. But when it's feeling dry and red, I'll do a gentle cleanse because I think, one, the cool water helps cool my skin down, and cleansing it kind of helps prepare it better for putting on some really good products that morning to try and calm the skin down. So that can seem a little counterintuitive, and this is one of those practices where you have to do some trial and error on your own, but I actually find that I enjoy occasionally cleansing in the morning and more often when my skin is out of balance or irritated rather than when it is in balance. But this is scent-free, super gentle, non-foaming, very creamy, and I don't find that it leaves a film. It rinses really well and it just leaves your skin feeling clean and hydrated but not oily. So the Marie Veronique oil cleanser I think emulsifies and rinses very well, but it does leave a light layer of moisture, and I feel like this does a good job of kind of getting any little bits of excess oil off while still leaving the skin really soft, not dry or tight at all. And I would highly, highly recommend this extremely gentle cleanser lotion by Avene. However, it does not remove makeup, sunscreen, forget about waterproof sunscreen at all, so this would not be suitable for a first cleanse. The last two cleansers I've had a little bit more difficulty with, and they are a little bit more controversial for me because they are lightly foaming cleansers, which my skin tends to not agree with. However, they are both highly recommended in the rosacea community by fellow people with rosacea as well as by dermatologists, and I've been curious about them for a while, so I thought I would try them out just to kind of see how they work and give you guys a review. But unfortunately, I've got to say that my skin just really does not like foaming cleansers at all. So the first is the Bioderma Sensibio or Sensibio Gel Moussant Micellar Cleansing Foaming Gel. And it looks like this. It's in a cute pink bottle, nice pump. This is 6.7 ounces. And what can I say about this? On the website, it actually recommends it specifically for rosacea, and so they kind of recommend these two products in tandem. You know, you can remove some of your makeup with this and then go in with this. And I read about a lot of people who love this product. However, I found it extremely drying to the point of being stripping within one wash. It foams quite a bit, maybe not like one of those pump cleansers that comes out in the foam, but for me it foams a lot. It rinses clean, no residue, no scent. It did leave my skin soft, and it wasn't irritated in the sense that it didn't feel like there was an ingredient in this that inflamed my skin. However, my skin felt dry and tight, and for me, I have found that when I have that sensation, it's going to lead me to more sensitivities and irritation, even when I replenish my skin with moisturizers and other barrier repair products. And so that night after I used this, I had to put on moisturizer so many different times, and it would just suck it up and feel dry and uncomfortable. So I think if you tend towards the oily side of rosacea, if your skin is maybe a little bit younger and a little bit oilier, or you're dealing maybe with type 2 more papular pustular rosacea, whereas I especially at this point suffer much more from type 1, the redness and the inflammation of the skin and tenderness and heat, but not the bumps. So if you have the papular pustular type, you might like this. If you like that clean feeling, if you found in the past that foaming cleansers don't bother your skin, then this might be a good one for you. I think it would be great for non-rosacea people who just want a simple cleanser, or for like a teenager who just, kind of one and done if you're getting your kids into skincare or something like that. I think this would be a good product. It's relatively affordable. You can get it at the drugstore, at CVS, or online. But yeah, for me and my dry, rosacea prone type 1 hypersensitive skin, this is a no-go. And for me, finding the balance of really good, thorough cleansing that does not dry out my skin is probably the most important step in my skincare process beside sunscreen. So that's why I'm so religious about the process and finding really good cleansers that I like. If you've been to a dermatologist or you've done any research on Reddit or anywhere in the online rosacea communities, I'm sure you've heard of the next product, which is the Vanicream Gentle Facial Cleanser. I bought this when I bought the Bioderma because I had some coupons for CVS and I was just curious and I wanted to see what else was out there and what all the hype was about. So similar to the Bioderma, this is another gel type cleanser. It has a very mild lather, and again, it's unscented and recommended for hypersensitive skin, including rosacea. I found this to be a lot more tolerable than the Bioderma, less drying, but still too drying for me. So while I only used this one time because I could immediately tell that the effects were not going to be positive for my skin long term, I actually used this for about a week and a half before stopping. And I used it in combination with my oil cleanser, or occasionally I would just use this first and then use this because I wanted to see if maybe it did a good enough job on its own and would be a little bit less stripping. And so I would just take off eye makeup with this and a little bit of my under eye concealer, which is sometimes where I put the most on. And actually after a week and a half, I was starting to get some really bad flaking patches. I wasn't feeling super dry all the time. You know, I was doing my moisturization and all of that, and my skin was feeling relatively okay. And I was waking up to clear, calm skin. I will say that. There wasn't anything irritating ingredient-wise. Nothing inflamed my skin. I think my coloration, the redness, was very low during that time. However, I was seeing bits of skin starting to peel, and this is the only thing that was different. And, you know, it is slightly foaming and a little bit more stripping than my other cleansers. So I do blame this because I've since quit, gone back to my Avene, and I'm doing my skincare routine, and the dry skin has gone away. So I am going to keep this around because I would be curious to try it again when the weather is hotter. I think even for my dry, delicate skin, this might be acceptable in a more humid environment, or maybe on a day where it's really, really hot and I want something more refreshing. However, I live in Southern California. It's extremely dry right now. I actually just went to the dermatologist and they said they've been getting lots of new patients coming in with problems related to dry skin because it's the driest year apparently on record. So that might have had something to do with it, where I'm trying a cleanser that's a little more drying during a time period that's extremely drying. But, you know, I do use a humidifier every night, and I am careful with all of my moisturization and all of that stuff, so I do the best I can, and I think that this is just not suitable for me, at least at this time. But I will keep it around because, like I said, during another time when the weather is different, it might be something I try as a second cleanse at least some days a week, but I definitely wouldn't use it twice a day. However, if you have oily skin with rosacea, I would recommend trying this because it's non-irritating. It lathers less than this. It dries your skin out less than this. It's a great price point. And yeah, I liked the results in terms of how calm my skin was. It was just too drying. So that's it for today's video. I hope it's helpful to give you guys updates on what's working for me and what's not. I'm noticing so many more brands coming out with unscented, more sensitive skin-friendly products. So I'm really excited that over the years, as all of us go struggle with our rosacea, there's going to be more options and more affordable options. I'm really frustrated because while I love the oil cleanser I use by Veronique, it is quite pricey, and I really wish I could find a more affordable drugstore option, but I just haven't found anything suitable yet. The few oil cleansers that are at the drugstore currently, to my knowledge, all have fragrance in them, and you know, most of us with rosacea need to avoid fragrance. I definitely do. So I'm hoping that as skincare companies see that this is an area of need, more options for us will come out. In addition to that, in the future, I would be curious to try the Neutrogena Extremely Gentle Cleanser Lotion. I'm guessing it's probably similar to this, although the ingredients are different. And what I liked about this one is I watched a review with Dr. Dre, and she talked about how this had an ingredient that helped fight fungal acne. And I thought that would be interesting to try out because sometimes bacteria and yeast and things like that interact to over-aggravate our rosacea. So I thought that would be interesting to try. And like I said, I've been really loving this. But I think that Neutrogena one sounds interesting. Everybody loves the La Roche-Posay different cleansers. In my last cleansing video, you'll know that I've tried their gentle cleansing lotion and I did not like it. And I've also tried their newer one that's like the hydrating gentle wash. But it has niacinamide and I found that it stung the skin. So I had barely put it on and immediately. So I washed that off. I've never tried it again. It was at a friend's house, so I, luckily didn't have to buy that product. But I think those could be potential options to try if you're not sensitive to niacinamide. Other than that, comment below, what are you using to cleanse? Do you double cleanse, single cleanse? What cleansers do you like? What's working for you? Thanks so much for watching and subscribe for more videos. Take care.